Hey everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about Tyler Perry's comedy drama Sisters, Season 4, Episode 8, The Sister. They should have called it The Sister Circle. That's what I thought they should have called it because that's what Fatima said. But I enjoyed this episode. You know why I enjoyed this episode? It was exciting and everything, but there was a lot of lines, a lot of comedy going on. Danny had me cracking up. Danny was trying. Karen was standing there pissed because Danny kept saying all that stuff that it was true, but Karen didn't want to hear it. So anyway, before we get started with this, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please take a moment right now and subscribe. Hit the little notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload some new videos or content. Also, do me a favor, hit the like button, write a comment, and share. So we got subscribe, comment, like, and share. Now, I'm hoping I don't make this video too long, but the details in that meetup, that face-off, I'm going to call it the face-off with Karen and Fatima, I got to tell y'all, and I'm shouting this out, and I don't care what anybody says. It's my opinion. It's how I feel. Everybody who thought that Karen was going to apologize and be a nice person and stuff, y'all was wrong. And y'all know y'all was wrong. Okay? She later apologized, but that's because she was made to apologize. What she did showed the level of maturity that she has and is still working with. I don't care how much you like a man. Your fight is not with the new woman. It is not. And until you grow up and learn that, I can't side with you. I'm sorry. I just can't. And I understand it. And let me tell you, Fatima showed that she is a woman and she is a bigger woman because she let her know I was you. I was there. I was that person. I get it. But what you don't do is what she did and lied on Zach like that. I had a problem with it. So we see Karen tells the girls that she's pregnant, right? Are you sure? You know, Danny. Danny was the main one saying, are you sure? Are you going to keep it? And she's like, of course I'm going to keep it. And I'm sitting there going, why are they all looking sad? To me, I thought a baby was supposed to be a joyous occasion, a wonderful thing, a great experience. But they all look like somebody just died. And I was confused by that. That's how I know something ain't right with them. Why are y'all all looking? Not one person said, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. She's sitting there, her arms crossed and folded the whole time, being a sour puss through the whole experience. Yeah, your girls are not siding with you because they know that what you're doing is wrong. That's the only reason, Karen. I'm sorry. So, of course, Danny's asking all the questions. Well, the next question, she said, who the daddy? And they keep looking at her, and Danny had to tell them, look, I'm saying the questions that y'all thinking and scared to say. So stop acting like y'all don't have those same questions in your mind. And then it got real quiet. She said again, Daniela has silenced them damn biatches. And then Sabrina's like, yeah, that's a good question. And they're like, really, Sabrina? And it's like, yeah. It's Zach's baby, obviously. And Andi asks about how many weeks is she? And and stuff. And she's like, she don't know yet. And then they was like, well, how you know you're pregnant? She said she took 3 pregnancy tests. We only saw 2, but she said she took 3. Okay. So Danny's like, all this damn drama about a pregnancy test, they aren't even often accurate. And that's when she said she took the 3. Like I said, we only saw 2. And Andi agrees with her. And then she's like, are you sure, Zach? Yes. She's like, but she's getting upset. But that's a valid question. Danny doesn't think, so Danny's saying she don't think Fatima gonna take this well. She don't seem like the type that gonna sit down and take it easily. And that's when the phone rings and the lobby calls up and tells Andi that Fatima's downstairs, and she said to send her up. And she said, I guess we're about to find out how well Fatima takes it. So Andi and Danny was sitting there going, this is giving me that setup vibe, that setup energy. Like, this is wrong. This is so wrong. And she was like, she should know. And she said, I wouldn't have invited Fatima if I knew you was going to do this. So Andy's trying to call Fatima and tell her not to come. And Danny like drama anyway. Danny's like, well, she in the building anyway. She here. You might as well let her come up. And say they all are agreeing. Sabrina, all of them are agreeing this is wrong. And don't tell her here. They don't want her to tell her here and stuff. What if she doesn't know? Zach probably didn't tell her. Y'all know how Zach is. Well, she said, well, I'm going to find out. I'm not going to tell. I'm going to find out what she knows first and before saying anything. So Karen was trying to do the setup. She's trying to do the setup, y'all. They check in to see if Karen is strapped and stuff because they both carry guns. And she's like, go get your girl. She told her, she always tell her, go get your girl. She's so jealous of Fatima in every sense of the word. Between her friendship with Andi and her relationship with Zach. She just doesn't like Fatima. And it takes maturity to get over that. And that's something that Karen still needs a little bit more of. So she might have her own salon, but these relationships, there's something, even with Aaron and how she treats him. The man loves her and stuff, and yet she's pushing him away because she wants Zach back, if you know what I mean. So anyway, Andi, when Fatima get up there, Andi trying to explain to her and let her know what's going on before Karen comes over, and she's like, oh, I didn't know. If I would have known, I wouldn't have had you come. And she's like, what's going on? Should I be afraid or something like that? She said, no, but I just found out and I didn't know this and I wouldn't have invited you. And Karen comes over there, bring her over here. Don't stop her right there. Come bring her in and stuff. And she tried to get Fatima to sit down. Fatima's like, no, I'll stand, because she sees Sabrina and Danny looking at her. She like, what the hell is going on? So she tells Fatima she's pregnant. Fatima's like, I know. And she's like, and she said, we weren't exclusive then, but we are now. And he comes home and tells me everything. I was dying. And so I can't remember what Danny was saying, but Danny had a line for everything. And I was sitting here hysterical laughing because I was like, Danny, you supposed to be being serious, and she coming in with the jokes and stuff. But it was funny, but I'm sorry, y'all. Karen was being messy because then she started lying, saying that Zach calls her. Did he tell you how much he calls me almost every day? And she's like, funny, I have his password to his phone and your number doesn't pop up. I said, ooh. And Danny said, down goes Mott. Karen Mott. Down goes Mott. I was like, there she is. Well, he may have another phone, and she said he does, and I have that password too. But now that was a lie. I don't think Fatima has that one too. She said, well, just be careful. And she said, I know him. She's like, that's what Karen is saying. She said, well, thank you for your concern. Oh, no, it's not concern. I just know him. And she's like I said, thank you for your concern. I was like, why say it, Karen? Why say it at all? If you know him, why you care if she got to be careful? Just let her deal with it herself. If you don't like her that much, you should just let her handle it. Basically, don't warn her. You acting like you warning her. So do you care? Or do you hope it? Because you were hoping this would break them up, and it's not. And she's like, well, Fatima's like, is this why I'm here? Is this why I'm here? I could go. She's like, no, like when the baby comes, the father will be in his life. And she said, we agree. Fatima was like, we agree. I agree. So we shouldn't be having any issues. The only person with an issue, I wish they would have had Fatima say that. The only person who has an issue is you with me. I never had an issue with you. Fatima never had an issue with Karen. She always was very professional or very kind and adult-like towards her. She never came at Karen until Karen came at her in the office. And that's their place of business. So she said, well, as long as we don't have any issues. And she said, well, a lot can happen in 9 months. Oh, and because we are new, and only time would tell. And Danny's like, don't say that. Don't do that, Fatima. Don't try to make her feel good. We know what you're doing. We said, we know he's crazy about you. And Fatima said, and I'm crazy about him too. And Karen did not like that. She didn't want to hear what what Danny was saying. She didn't want to hear that. So, and Fatima told her, we think it's going to work. And, but I think we also should work on a paternity test. I said, ooh, she was like, are you suggesting I'm lying? She said, no, but it couldn't hurt, right? And so Karen couldn't get out of that one. She said, no, it couldn't hurt. Yeah, because you need to know who the daddy is, who the real daddy is. So Fatima says, and if it's that what did she say? And if it's Zach's baby, then he'll do. She said, "It is his baby." She said, "If it's if we find out it's Zach's baby, he will be doing the right thing. And if he brings that child to my house, you will never have to worry about him, me hurting that baby or something like that." So Karen was like, "Oh, like fine, or something like that." She did. She said, "Is that all you needed? Is that what you? That's it?" She said, "Cause I can leave your little sister circle now." And she starts walking away, and Karen sits down with her arms folded on the couch like she done told her, put her in check. And Andy's like, "Oh, hell no." Andy's telling her to get up and go over there and say something. And she gets up and goes, "Fatima," and says that it's, I lied. Zach ain't her, ain't Zach don't be calling me and stuff. And I just wanted to, I ain't even that mad at you. I don't know you. I just wanted to hurt you and stuff. She admitted she wanted to hurt her. Hello, Karen fans. And I know y'all like to say, "Oh, yeah." Like I said, I was a Karen fan, but her behavior recently has got me like, I can't side with that right now. I've been through that. My man had some other woman pregnant. I sure didn't go after the other woman, and I sure didn't have a problem act that way. And I was with him, and he got somebody else pregnant. You ain't with him. You ain't with him, and he got somebody pregnant, and you acting like that. So come on, that takes a level of maturity. And I had it, and I was in my 20s. You in your 30s. I was in my 20s and had to deal with that. And I handled it like a Fatima handle. I was mature. I was respectful. I ain't blame nobody else but the man. And that's it. Oh, but my man. You hear me? The man. My man. That's who I blamed. But then Karen walks away like she got her told, like she told Fatima with her arms crossed, like, yeah, like as long as we understood. I was like, you ain't get nobody straight, honey. What happened is Fatima got you straight. No, what happened is Fatima showed you how a mature woman handles things. That's what she did. And I'm sorry, y'all, who don't want to hear it, but that's how that all just went down. So then, Fatima's about to leave again, and they said, "No, don't leave like that." Danny's like, "Don't leave like that. Come back." And Andy's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And she sits in between Sabrina and Danny. And then, they started talking about Zach, and then they men, and then they said, "Let's change the subject." Karen over there, arms crossed, legs crossed, arms folded, pissed, just pissed. And then they was like, "Let's get smoke, let's smoke and get high," or something like that. And and Fatima goes, "Well, only if it's okay, for me to stay." And everybody turns and looks down at Karen. And Karen, all pissed with her head, legs swinging and her arms folded, she goes, "Fine," or something like that. And they're like, "Okay, cool." And they all get up and they gather in the kitchen, and she learns more about the refrigerator. I mean, the apartment, the penthouse, and they just having a good time. So that worked out that way. Then we got Jake. He calls Zach and apologizes for Gary's behavior at the basketball game. And he suggests that Zach put some of his money into winning and losing stocks. Basically, he told him to diversify to keep the heat off of him. And he said he told Zach that he would look into what's going on with Gary telling Zach people are talking about him. So he said when someone puts small amount of money on stock and it turns into millions, eyebrows are raised. So basically he said he would look into it and let him know tomorrow when he comes and helps him paint. I said, "Boy, he real nice person. You just met him. You can't get your regular friends to come and help you paint. But this stranger will come and help him paint." It was like, really, maybe it's therapeutic for him. Maybe it's something therapeutic for Jake to paint. Some people like to shovel. Some people like to do other things. I don't know. Anyway, what else happened? Fatima gets home and she said, she told Zach what happened. Said, "I know how to hold my own and stuff, and I really like those girls." He said, "Even Karen?" She's like, "Even Karen." And she tells Zach that Karen tried her, though. And she didn't know you told me so that she was pregnant. And he said, "See, that's why I said we got to talk and let each other know so people can't catch us off guard." And he's right about that. And she was right about that. I don't know if Zach said that, but anyway, she said, this time I did it with my piece. I said it with my piece. He said, wait, so is she going to be looking like Hayden? He said, Carrie going to be looking like Hayden. She said, boy, shut up. No. I was laughing. So Zach tells Fatima what Gary did at the basketball court and saying Zach's name is in the wrong circles and stuff. And they had that little conversation, and then he called her. Those of you who are Scandal fans and used to watch Scandal, he called her Fatima. He called Fatima Olivia Nope instead of Olivia Pope. He said Olivia Nope, and Fatima said, "Look, I handle shit." That's right. Then Karen, she arrives at the salon, and Andi calls her, and she's like, I knew you was gonna come back with me, and because Andi, of course, had to stay in that new apartment instead of going to Karen's as they had arranged. And she said, "Oh wait, my other line beat," and it was Aaron. So she hung up with Andi, and they chatted. Her and Aaron chatted, and she asked him why he was up so late, and he said he was he was playing basketball or something like that. Oh, and then she said she was on her way home because she was hanging out with the girls. So he asked her, how did it go? Did she tell him? And she said, yeah. And she said, why are you up late? And he's like, because he was just playing basketball with Gary and Zach. And he said, he's a little, and she said, I know. And he said, I could see why you not with him anymore. And she got quiet. And he's like, oh, did I say something wrong? She said, no, I'm just listening to you. And she's like, oh, she cannot stand it. I'm sitting there going, oh, she cannot stand it that Aaron is so wanting to be the father and love her child. She hasn't even made an appointment to the doctor. I don't understand it. But he asking her, to check his timeline. Check the timeline and make sure it's not your baby. It's not your baby. But check the timeline, please. And she was like, look, I have to go. I'm on my way home. I was like, that's kind of messed up, Karen. But anyway, she don't realize, but Aaron ain't going to give up. He want to know when is her appointment, when she going to make one. When I make one, I'm like, girl, you should have been had one made. Anyway, it goes on to Andi, and it shows her in the bedroom, and she finds that note saying play me, and it's attached to an iPad, and it's a video of Gary. I thought it was sweet and stuff, even though Gary's jive turkey and everything. He did I say jive turkey, y'all? He a chump is what he is. He a rich ass chump though. And he videotaped himself talking to her and taking her through the apartment, and he's showing her, how meticulous she is about her clothes, and that's why he got it set up this way, and her favorite ice cream's in the freezer and all this something. And then he said at the end of this video, there's a button either saying come or don't come, depending on which one you hit. I hope you hit the one that says come. I'll be there. I'll get a notification letting me know to come. I said, oh, she gonna hit that button. She gonna hit that button. What y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Is Andi gonna hit that button and come? That sound dirty, come. So Zach is at his house. He gets his house, and Gary calls to apologize, and then says he's going to have Jake come over and explain. And then he suggested Zach take some money out of the bank. And that made a whole lot of sense. I even understand that because I do the same thing. He said it's going to get, and Zach is like, is it going to get bad? He said, well, it's good to have money on hand, cash on hand, because cash is king. So Gary asked him again about the stock and how he knew, and Jack was like, I said it was a hunch, that's it. He said, well, that was a hell of a hunch. And so they hang up, and Hayden comes in. So Gary asks, and Hayden's asking, what did he say? And Gary's like, he's saying the same thing. He's not saying anything different. And he's like, yo, who is Zach to you anyway? Why are you so up his ass? And he was like, no one. I just don't like people breaking the law. He said, oh, except for you. And he's like, what's that supposed to mean? He said, nothing, man, nothing. He's like, are you still watching Andi? Is that guy still there? And he's like, yeah, I'm still watching. And no, he went back to London. He's like, oh, really? Is he coming back? He said, I have no idea. So Gary asked what happened to him. He said, I told you I fell off my electric bike. Gary's like, are you sure? Well, what else would it have been? So, they said that whole line about keep a fire under the, you watch Andi for me and you just keep a fire on Matt for me. And he's like, fine, fine. But now that we see in this side of Gary's really not down with what Hayden is doing. That's what I'm sensing, that he's not really with it. Y'all let me know that in the comment section. Am I wrong? It seems like he's not really down with it, but he knows Hayden's dirt, he's saying, because we learned that when Hayden is leaving and Jake comes in and Gary says, yo, Jake, help him to his car. And Hayden's like, I don't need no help. I was like, oh God, one of those proud people. He's so proud. I could do it by myself. So Jake sits down and says he never liked Hayden. And he said, well, Gary said he's a good backup to have. And, Jake is like, yeah, but can you trust him? He said, with as much shit as I got on him, I said, so Hayden got some dirt on him. If they find out, it could be messy. And he might be able to use that against him to get, what's his name, out of jail. To get Zach out of jail, I don't know. We'll see. But but Jake did say, it's strange that you got him watching your ex. And this one I didn't like Gary. Gary leans up. He's not watching. He's just keeping me informed. That's some sneaky-ish. That's some sneaky-ish stuff. Oh, he's not watching them for me. He's just informing me of what she does. Same thing. Then he got Maurice getting to the bank and finds Q hiding in the bushes, and he wants to stay at Maurice's house. And if he's not there in an hour, he's going back to jail. Well, Maurice said, well, you're going to be going back to jail. You better call them people because you ain't staying with me. And he's like, please, I need some place to stay. All that stuff you were saying to me, did you mean it? He said, boy, you delusional and stuff. He said, anyway, I have a roommate. He said, so I'll stay in a room with you. He said, well, as tempting as that sounds, the answer is hell no. I was like, no. It's still no. And he kept saying, no, 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 no. And all of this line, which is a waste of time and airtime. And then Sabrina pulls up. Oh, no, he said no. He told her, you got a tracker on your foot. He said, you got a tracker on you and you're here at the scene of the crime. How dumb can you be? He said, don't you know they know you're here? He said, oh, yeah, that's right. He said, that's why they call it a tracker. I was sitting there going, oh, my God, Q is dumb. So Sabrina pulls up and she sees him. She walks over and said, why are you out? And what are you doing here? I'm calling the police. And he finally leaves because Maurice said, you better go. Because she had to hear Maurice telling him to go and stuff. And he said, you better go because she means it. She's going to call. And Q cut out. And then I think it ended with Jake. Jake showing up to Zach's house because, I'm sorry. What's his name again? Gary. Gary had told Jake to look over these files and papers for Zach and tell him what's going on. So when Jake shows up at Zach's house and informs him that there's been an inquiry to the SEC, and Zach is like, by who? And he said, they didn't say, but they're supposed to contact you. He said, is that bad? He said, look, just tell him you had a hunch and that you've been following the company. And Zach is like, and he said, is there something you want to tell me? You have been following the company, right? And Zach, he could tell something's up. And he said, because this is some real lucky stuff, what's happening here. So he started asking Zach questions. He said, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. And he started asking Zach all these questions that Zach couldn't answer. He mentioned something about 2015. Nobody could remember that far back. Okay, how about 6 months ago? And he could tell Zach didn't know anything. And he said, look, I want to prepare you for all of these questions that they're going to ask you. And Zach is like, why you want to help me? Because right now he's got Fatima in his head saying, Jake works for Gary. So they, shady. And he's like, no, because you're a good brother. He said, yeah, that's why. He said, yo, you better be on the up and up, dude. You better be on the up and up. He said, nah, I am. And at that moment, who comes in? But Jenna Mackey, she comes in and said, put your hands, Zachary Taylor, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. He said, but why? Why am I under arrest? She said, please don't make this harder. What did she say? Don't make this more difficult. And Aren't they supposed to tell you what you're getting arrested for? He's like, what is this? What did I do? This is BS. What did I do? And she never told him what he did. And I think that's a problem. I think they're supposed to tell you. But anyway, that's how it ended. That's how it went down. I hope y'all liked the episode as much as I did. Let me know if I missed anything in this recap, because I know there was something I missed and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comment section. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.